perspective, you know what I've been doing. I've been focusing on something that I've wanted to do for a long time, but haven't really had either the time or the opportunity to actually build this short-term cash flow forecasting model that a lot of people have asked me for through the years. Because a lot of just to put it into a nutshell, obviously in business, and especially now, looking at cash flow is critical, because that's the thing that's going to run out potentially before anything else. So it's always important to keep an eye on. But it's difficult because without having a proper kind of tool to actually see how it looks in 6 weeks or 12 weeks, it's very time consuming to try and figure out. You have to look at, okay, what sales might I make, and when do I need to pay my MVA, and when do I need to pay my employer's taxes, and what money am I due in from my customers, and how much of that is really old, and is there some of it I might not get because it's been outstanding for a year, so therefore it's a bit risky, maybe they'll never pay me. How much do I need to pay to my suppliers? All of these moving parts, it's very difficult to actually say, boom, there you go, that's your position. So a lot of people have asked me over the years, oh, can you just build us like a simple cash flow forecasting model? And I'm like, well, unfortunately these things aren't simple, because behind the scenes there's a lot of moving parts that need to be taken care of. So actually it's quite a time consuming thing to put together. And it's not the kind of thing a small company would really pay for for me to necessarily build specially for them. But anyway, your question got me thinking, okay, like, people need to know this. I know how to do it. I know exactly what needs to be done. I know I need time, but I need to build something that's so flexible that any company could use it. Therefore, I need to take all my creative energy and put that into a channel and just get it done. So once I started building it, I was like, oh my goodness, this is so great. It's going to be so amazing, because I'm making it so, like, as I say, flexible, adaptable, that I can roll it out pretty quickly. Wow. And for me, it's thrilling, because I feel that I've now got this opportunity and a very good reason to do it. Right. So
in this program, I love the simplicity around it. I love that you're like, this is for anyone running their small businesses, but it's still, you wouldn't go ahead and spend all this time for one client, because they wouldn't be able to pay.
No, they wouldn't. No.
Now we have masses out there that is in a dire straight situation that might be in need for that. So when this is ready, how would you plan to deliver it to those?
Yeah. Well, I've got two ideas around that. One is that we work already with a number of accounting practices. So I'm obviously going to roll it out to them for a very, very low monthly cost, with the idea that they can use it to advise all their clients. So that's the easy way. That's the easy way for me to reach people, because obviously I have to get the data, for the report to work, for the tool to work. I have to be connected to their data. So there are some technical considerations here, and I have some ideas around how I can reach people that are not already my clients. But I need to go a little bit further into what I can do, how I can license, how I can get that data connected to my report. So I haven't ironed out all of those issues yet, but what I know is that we have the infrastructure. I'm building the report. People have their data mostly in the cloud. I'm starting this with people that are using PowerOffice Go and TripleText, because they're the most widely used tools for accounting. So I just need to get everything plugged together. So my plan with this is that I make it available at a very low monthly cost, as low as can be, feasible, really, so that people can then use it to actually make much better decisions about their business, and actually look at, okay, I've got a problem in 3 to 4 weeks. I need to make a plan now. I need to do something right now. I
really love that, Laura. Because what I do here is that what you have in mind is, how can I help these companies as soon as possible? Right now, not
right now.
Years and all these things. It's like first aid. What are we going to do? And you're putting your time together and really build it down there, and then going to roll it out.
Exactly.
How will you then? So you did mention about existing kind of people within your system, whatever. But how will people outside be able to get access to the system whenever that might be ready? How will you market it?
Well, what I need to do is I need to speak to, basically, without sort of going all the way into the detail, there is a license issue here. So I need to be able to sort that bit out so that we can stick the data with the report together.
Yeah.
But what I would suggest is that anybody that is interested speaks to me, because if they are part of an accounting practice already, then I will speak to the accounting practice that they belong to, because it would make more sense to go out to the accounting practices who have hundreds of customers on the same platform. It would be much more efficient to see if we can sort of like, start at the top in a way, so go to the practice and let them deliver it out to their customers. But of course, not everyone's connected to an accounting practice. So I would suggest anyone that's interested just to ask me. And when the thing is ready, I will advise how it's possible to actually use this thing.
Yeah.
Now it's a 100-day, it's a 13-week like forecast, so 100 days. And
Right.
what I'm doing is continuously looking 100 days back and 100 days forward.
This is so cool.
Yeah, and as much of it as automated as possible. So in theory, you can open it up and you can see straight away, that's how my next 100 days looks.
Oh, wow.
And then you have the possibility to plug in some of your own assumptions to say, okay, I don't think that I'm going to be able to achieve, for example, that level of sales in the next 100 days. In fact, sales are going to be null. So I'm going to just like wipe out all my sales and see how my cash position looks in 100 days. So I'm going to make it so simple. And that's what takes a long time, because for me, to build it that simple means I've got to have everything behind the scenes, connected and working in an automated way so that people can just switch on and there you go. Wow. So I think for accountants, this is going to be like a godsend, because all the clients that they have that now have this, everyone in the world is in the same situation, of course, where we're all looking at, okay, what does it look like now? The most immediate future, as you said earlier, Rita, like the 5-year plans right now are out the window because nobody has a clue like what's going to happen tomorrow, let alone in a year or 5 years. So I figured 13 weeks, 100 days, that's what we've got to think about now. But we need to be proactive, and every day is a different story, it's a different picture. So for the accountants, it's a nightmare if they don't have a good tool to be able to go out to their clients and just say, okay, look, dear client, we have an issue. We can roll forwards 2 or 3 weeks and we can see you've got a big bill that needs to be paid. At the same time, you've got an MBA that needs to be paid, and you just don't have the money in the bank. The sales are slowing down. Let's see what we can do. And it's not a magic wand. It's not going to fix anyone's cash flow problems, or it's not going to make more money go into the bank, but it's going to let us be more proactive about how we manage.
And I think what you're onto there is just so super important, because I was just watching a program about how do you kind of take a proactive approach from your business in particular. Going to the bank, asking for either a loan or asking for delay paying of interest or whatever it is. And I'm not sure how it is around the world, but at least in Norway, they are very much up there and asking people just go out, reach out, make contact. And what I hear you say, Laura, is, oh my goodness, how much easier wouldn't it be if you have everything in front of you? You can go to the bank and you can say, okay, this is my business. According to this is what it looks like. I'm painting you a picture right now. How can you support me? So what I hear is that this kind of product will be so important over the next, let's say, 100 days. Now are the days this is the time we need help. This is
exactly
the time we need to put things on hold. Like in Norway, we're putting MVA on hold, we're putting taxes on hold. Doesn't mean we're not going to pay it, because
no.
of course. We will all pay
we do what we have to do.
Absolutely. But I love that. So one of the things that I'm curious about is, so kind of you're a startup, you're a scale-up company. I would probably think. You're a scale-up company, you're faced with the same challenges as the rest of the world. Somehow I still feel this amazing thing when I'm talking to you, that you have this inspiration. It's like, okay, something is cooking. How did you turn this dire straits situation into an opportunity? Because that's what we talk about. Can we turn the impossible into I am possible? Indeed. Know that. How did you do it?
Oh, that's a good question, because I think that when this all happened, I would say, let's say last Thursday. Let's say last Thursday was the day where it all turned really serious. Um, I just, I think it caught everyone a little bit by surprise. Like, okay, we all knew this was happening. We all knew it was serious. We didn't really know the implications for our business or anything else. And I think a lot anyway. But I got a message actually from you. I don't know if you remember, but I think you sent me a little voice message on WhatsApp. And I always love your messages, and they always start, "Hello, Laura," and I was like, "Oh, it's Rita." And then you asked me, what I think you said you were putting together something, for businesses now as to what they should be thinking about. And I was like, you asked me what I felt, businesses should be thinking about. And I was like, well, that's a good question. And to be honest, I thought, well, I don't think that they should be thinking an awful lot different than now than what they should have done before. However, it's more critical now because everything's changing so fast. So I sent or I thought about it and sent you some information on what I felt, and it's always around cash flow. I think with small medium-sized businesses, which most businesses are, cash is normally the limiting factor. So I felt, okay, it's cash flow, of course it's cash flow. And I thought, well, people need to consider the normal things, like, can they extend the credit terms with their big suppliers, or can they give their customers maybe slightly shorter credit terms? There are all the usual things that you need to consider around cash flow. But then I thought, but it's so difficult for people to know this without the tool. So that, I think that same night I was like, I've got to build the tool. I need to build the tool.
Yes.
And I just thought, okay, right, great. I need some demo data. I need, just to get cracking. So I built my tool, the first version of the tool, the minimum viable product, if you like. And I finished it 2 nights ago, really, really late, in enough time that I thought, okay, good. Now I can go to sleep and, relax a bit. And I went to sleep and dreamt of a whole better version of the tool. And I was like, oh no, I got to start again. So I woke up really early in the morning, but I was so excited because I thought I dreamt of a much better way of doing it.
Yes.
I can't wait to put it into practice now and see if this is going to work.
Yeah.
So I got up really early, made some tea, and sat there thinking, yeah, okay, let's just try this out. And I tried it and I was like, oh my goodness, this works so much better. Yeah. So that I just got this new burst of energy, just thinking this is going to be much more streamlined. So that was, well, gosh, I mean, it seems like so much has happened in a few days, but that was only yesterday morning, I think. And by yesterday evening, it was like, wow, I'm in love with my tool. This is amazing. So I can't wait for it to be finished. But unfortunately, it's one of those things you cannot rush. It's like a puzzle. You need to put each little piece in place. So I'm grabbing every opportunity I can just to sit down and do a bit on the computer and build a bit more and build a bit more. And then I thought, okay, I need to release this in phases. So I need to get phase 1 ready. And so I can get some people connected up so they can start using it before I start adding in some extra bells and whistles.
Yeah.
So, but it was the question you asked was really rolling back to your question. Your question to me just stimulated something that was lying dormant, really. Yeah. It's all there. The creative energy is there. The ideas are there. And I think your question to me made me think, yeah, actually, what can I do with my gifts in this situation? How can I contribute to making life easier and better in a way that helps small, medium-sized businesses get access to information they really wouldn't have otherwise, and the accountants that are working with them. Now, I'm not saying no accountants are doing this already. I'm not saying that. There's probably a lot of accountants that have some tools that they're using with clients, but I think that it is one of these things that I've been asked for plenty of times by accounting practices, amongst others. So I know that these, the sophistication of these tools are often not really great. So there you go. So I think it's that spark, that creative spark that you ignited with your question to me. So
I think it's really so interesting that you're saying that. And I mean, obviously what I've learned in the work that I'm doing is that when I'm asking a person a question, it's almost like the person feels that, oh, I have now the permission to go ahead and do something.
Yeah.
And has been holding me back. That doesn't exist anymore.
That's it. Yeah. Exactly. And I was just going to add to that, when you asked, what I actually felt was, oh, that's interesting. Rita's interested in what I think. Okay, so what do I think? Yeah, okay, well, let's put that down on a piece of paper and send it over to Rita. Because I thought maybe you could take that information and do something with it, you know.
Love it.
Yeah, so
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And obviously, since I have what do you call it? I'm not allowed to share any information, so I do sit on a lot of information these days. So what I've been doing is that I've been talking to a lot of people, asking them, how can you move your business into a proper contribution to society? What is it that is in there? Because as you know, I mean, I work so much about purpose. And one thing that I've learned about business is that the majority of business forget the purpose very, very quickly. Have this beautiful, fancy purpose statement or mission statement on their website, and now they have this amazing vision. And the minute there is a crisis, unfortunately, the first thing that goes out the window is the two most important things in their entire organization. Because when we now go back to our purpose and we say, okay, so the company's kind of was created on this DNA. It's supposed to solve XYZ problem. Well, it might be that the product that you're using currently is kind of out of the window, but the purpose is still there. You still can help people do exactly those things. Now you're just designing something new. So when I'm asking this question to people working in the big major in oil and gas, the smaller entrepreneurial companies, whatever it is, they've paused, like you.
Yeah.
Hello.
This is my best friend. It's Pi. Yeah, he's never far away. Yeah, they put. Yeah.
So what I've done then is what I've realized is that through my question, so many ideas have reached the surface.
Right.
So for me, now my purpose is showing up, because my purpose, as you know, is to ensure that people are fully expressed and liberated. And what I've known is that there are so many people that are walking around with these brilliant ideas, but they don't fully express them because they're so scared it's going to look stupid. I probably would have invented this a long time ago. It was such a great idea. No,
right.
you know what? There is a reason why they didn't invent it, because there wasn't a need for it. There was no pandemic going on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's time to, money isn't the case at the moment. Survival is the case. And that we'll go through this. We will go through it, and we will end up on the other side of it very differently. So that's why I say, let's use this opportunity we have to indulge in what we actually love doing.
Yeah, what means something, you know, exactly. But I mean, from your perspective, Rita, like, do you find then that the conversations that you're having with your clients are completely different now than what they were before? Are you still having the conversations, you know, everything, all the meetings and appointments, because you were always on Zoom anyway, so like you can carry on just like before, presumably. But I guess the conversations are changing, and the energy on the call is slightly different.
Totally different. But you know, I think what is really standing out is that, so a lot of I mean, in particular, I work with women, but I think what has been very specific is that whereas before there were like so many choices, I don't know which choice should I go for, or I'm up against my organization, the culture need to change. It's up to them. And then what I do is to bring them back and say, you have 100% ownership of everything you do.
Yeah.
Different right now is that I think now they really understand when I start by saying, you know what, the first thing we need to do right now is to slow down. We're just gonna slow the whole thing down. We need to kick your adrenaline and your whatever is, in particular the adrenaline that is cooking in your head, which makes you think from a very narrow-minded place. We need to get rid of that, slow down, so you can tap in to all the wisdom that you have obtained through entire life. And we're going to figure out what is in your DNA. What is it that you're born to do? What is it that, if you were just to lift this gift, it could be a great engineer, it could be the drawing, it could be the whatever that might be, but let's focus on that main thing. Because when you're doing that, you will feel joy. And that is what we need right now. We need to feel like joy, and don't be surprised that you can actually make money out of your joy.
Yeah, you know, as you say, like, who knows, really? Like, it's the most amazing thing, isn't it?
It really,
when
really
you tap into something that you're born to do.
Absolutely.
And, you know, the whole business model might be different than anything that you've ever considered. You probably never considered the business model around it anyway, if it was, you know, a hobby or something that you've had, you know, carried around for many years and never done anything with it.
Exactly.
But I think this is a new opportunity, isn't it? I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like it's the universe just telling us to stop up. And, you know, I feel I don't really think I should get into the discussion around, you know, sustainability and all of that, because I'm no expert, but I do feel that the way we have been madly crazy, rushing around, consuming the world, and, you know, as you say, all the choices and everything we can do and all the places we can travel and all the things we can achieve.
Yes.
And now it's like, oh, yeah, that's changed. You know, number one, we can't do that now anyway, even if we wanted to, but maybe it won't be the same as it was before. Maybe we'll think differently, you know, about having to travel all over the world and consume all of the resources, all the natural resources.
Absolutely.
You know, which is heartbreaking, really.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
It's so true. And I think that is, so back to your question about what is the biggest shift with my clients, I would say that, first of all, what I want to say is that there are still people getting new jobs out there.
Right.
People
Okay.
actually sign new jobs. It's not like everything has stopped.
No.
So I'm working with clients who are in transition period, going in from one position into another position. I have a client who has really created a powerful kind of head of carbon that is really, I mean, it's about changing things. And that goes on. It doesn't matter. The only difference is that now the meetings are now taking place on Zoom.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important just to say that.
Yeah.
I also work with people who are then in transition where they're actually thinking about finding a new job that gives them more meaning.
Right.
Are you sure this is the right time for you to think like that? And they said, yes. And actually, I have saved up 2 years to be able to be without a job. It is the right time for me now to seriously look in the mirror and say, how am I? What am I going to do? How can I contribute to feeling much better? So where I will say is that, whereas often I would work with women who feel completely overwhelmed, they are not being heard, they have a seat around the table, but their vision isn't heard. How that is taking place now? First, I want to say this. I have never experienced more women standing up, they're creating Facebook pages, they're creating organization. They're actually women-led. And I would say that in this moment, we are experiencing where women are showing up in their true capacity. We want to help. Show us how we can help. Just check it out. Check out on Facebook how many organizations are actually created by women. I'm not saying there's something wrong with men. I'm just saying that women now have been given an opportunity to simply be themselves and just go out and create. And it's very much like, how can we help our neighbors? How can we? It's so powerful.
I know. It's so heartening, isn't it? Actually,
it really is. It's such a breakthrough. And I would say the most powerful thing that I have experienced over the past week, and I have been actually, before Benjamin ended up in the hospital, I was working from 5 a.m. because I've got clients in Australia to non-stop to the west coast of the US. What I can see is that the women with idea have suddenly become so succinct in the way they communicate. They articulate themselves so strong around that table because they know that something is cooking. That gives me great joy.
Good. Yeah.
Give us a reason. Give us a mission. We are there. We do this thing. So for me, it's just like when I say, when Benjamin got his diagnosis, I get all this energy to just, I never took anything personal when the doctor said, oh, Rita, you're only a mom, and what do you know? I'm the expert. I was like, oh, yeah, that's okay. But you know what? I have my own opinion, and I'm going to get it. Anyway, I feel that so many women are feeling that right now if they're just allowing themselves to do that.
Yeah.
So that is the biggest change that I experience in my job right now.
Right.
I can feel the power from women who wants to help.
Yeah.
Let's make use of it. I really want to make use of it.
That's so great. It's so good to hear, isn't it? It must be exciting for you, like hear it, like, you know, being part of this story, really, for so many different people.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're obviously speaking to a lot of people every day. So I guess you're also getting a lot of good tips about how, you know, how to manage in these kind of times.
I do.
Yeah, it's I guess you can share those as well with others, because I think it would be so sad, like you mentioned earlier, about, you know, some people are, you know, obviously overwhelmed and very scared, and
Very.
you know, it would be so, I'm so glad I'm not there. Like, let's put it that way, because I just feel like, oh, the world's just gone on pause a bit, in a way. Like, I know it hasn't stopped, but I can't be out and be part of it, you know, like I normally am. So it has created some more time for the creative energy to be, you know, to be able to come to the fore. And for me, that's kind of thrilling and exciting. I'm obviously desperately sad for the people that have got, you know, ill relatives or people that have lost people, and I feel so grateful and happy. Well, what's the word? So grateful and happy that we live in a country where we've got the all these nurses and doctors that are working their absolute socks off. I mean, you know, I'm so in awe of them, because for them this shift in energy is not the same as it is for me, whereas I'm kind of, you know, isolated at home and can get to sit and do all these lovely creative things. For them, they're on their feet, obviously, aren't they, not sleeping and treating people, and you know, so it's taken a different, you know, this whole thing is different for everybody. Of course, I was speaking yesterday on Zoom to some of my BNI group, and there are two different stories. Like, some of them have, you know, the businesses are very, very quiet, so, you know, they're not able to do much in the way that they would normally do. And for others, you know, it's kicked into a different gear. So there's one poor IT guy, and he said he also hasn't slept for, like, I don't know, a week, because everybody suddenly wants a home office, you know. So he's like been everywhere, delivering machines, connecting up machines.
Yeah.
Now he has to stop because he needs to take care of himself a bit as well.
Yeah.
But,
and
you know,
this is really interesting, because so throughout the work that I've done, I've been working on Zoom for many, many years, and I've been people from work in person into the world of freedom, from lawyers to even handyman. Move them actually over to how can you do business, how can you make money out of the virtual world.
Right. Okay.
And you can do that. And so one of the cases was about like plumbing and how to help people. So just like for me, like I have to call my own doctor several times this week because I didn't feel well.
Right.
Now, of course, it's Zoom. And of course, the minute I had been on Zoom, I received my invoice, and that could be paid by SMS. So what I've seen with people working in practical areas, and I've seen that in the oil industry in general, where they're using artificial intelligence to go out and help, is that people can actually call in, and the person who's the expert is monitoring and seeing what the problem is, and is guiding the person how to self-fix and invoicing after.
Good.
So what I share with people is that let's use our imagination. There is a reason why YouTube videos are so popular. But you can actually also create income by offering your services, by checking on things, how they're looking, and say, this is the problem, this is what we do, and this is the cost to do so. Solutions. Let's not just go like, there's nothing I can do because I'm in person. I don't know, maybe they can even tell you how to cut your hair.
Yeah, that's a good point. I need my roots done now, so I'm just thinking, like, how am I going to do that? But I think you're right, and I think the important thing that you said just there was that we need to make sure that we find a way to make an income from this. So of course it's nice to help with our skills. Of course there's a certain amount we want to do for everybody, but we also need to find new ways of making money so that we can live as well. And if it's you know, I don't think people mind paying for good advice. So say for example, say my laptop goes up the spout now, and this IT, you know, guy that I was speaking to yesterday, he can't come to my house maybe, but maybe I can call them up and ask him, okay, what buttons can I press then? And, you know, what can I do? I won't mind paying for that, because, you know, he's rescuing me potentially now. So I think, you know, people mustn't be shy of thinking, okay, I've got a skill, I can charge for this, you know, and it's okay to make some money. You know, everybody needs to eat, everybody needs to live, don't they? So
yes.
yeah.
And one thing I do want to say at last, as a point there, and it, again, in my work, there is this saying that connecting equals currency.
Right. Okay.
And remember, currency in itself represents a lot of things. Currency is time, currency is money, currency is getting assistance. It doesn't really matter, it's one of those things. If you need one thing in place, you need connection.
Right.
So as an example, when I do training on, let's say, how to use LinkedIn, it's all about connection. If you are out there, if you're connecting, if you're simply asking, how is it going? And you're sharing and you're caring, it equals currency. You might need somebody's time sometimes. You might need somebody to pay you for your services, whatever that might be.
Right.
If you don't spend time on now nourishing connection, no, it's going to be very difficult these days. So that's what I'm saying. Ensure that we are working on our connections and embrace. Everybody shows up on Facebook. Everybody shows up on LinkedIn. We don't know why, but I believe that they're there for a reason, and we need each other. So let's connect.
I think so. And like, I don't know about you, but you know, there is more now. There's more time to connect, actually, now that we can't get out and drive here and drive there. I mean, I'm sure that will change eventually as well, but you know, right now, a Saturday, I would have been probably all over the place doing this, that and the rest, but actually I've sat down, I've had a nice cup of tea and a chat with Rita that I probably never would have been able to have if otherwise. I mean, yeah, of course we could have always made time for a chat, but now I'm thinking, gosh, who can I connect with, who can I reach out to, who can I speak to, for many different reasons, because the days are a bit longer now.
Yeah, and I want to share one actually last thing. So I was talking to a person who is really into investors and finding investors and who can I pitch to, and it's the feeling of that it's all dead now.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like, who has money anyway?
Yeah.
And what I shared with this person was this, that the investors are not invaded by people wanting to talk to them right now. And it's not about the money. It's about building deep, meaningful relationship, because whatever you are producing is a representation of the quality of your product. But if you're now using the opportunity to generally, from one human being to another human being, it's not C to C and B to C and C to B and everything. It's H to H, human to human. That will put you into a category that when the doors once again are opening up, you have done your legwork, you've proven yourself. There is an opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah.